Hi there, ho there, how you doing out there, guys? Welcome to another train simulator video. Today I got something pretty special to look at here, and it is the Western Pacific FP7 and Rio Grande F9 enhancement pack. They're both very lovely. They're very decent models to begin with. They've aged okay, they were done okay from the get-go, but the team that recently did the Amtrak F40ph and Superliner set enhancement pack, some of the guys in that group have created this pack, so they are back to back in action again. And anyway, all you're going to need is the Dovetail Games FP7, the California Zephyr. Zephyr. That's all you're going to need. That's it. It's going to have a ton of stuff. We'll go over it here bit by bit momentarily, but just a tiny bit of information about what you're looking at here. The one on the left is the FP7. I'm sorry, that's the F9. I'm an idiot. The one on the left is the F9. It was a newer variant of this one on the right here. It had about 1,750 horsepower. They were built between 1953 and 1960 using the 567C prime mover. Take note of that. 567C prime mover. And D&RGW had 4A and 4B units, so booster units. So there's one in the middle here. So it's A, B, A. I've got them set up right now. They ran these as the Rio Grande Zephyr, which was kind of a passenger train taken after the Western Pacific California Zephyr hauled trains kind of fell by the wayside. They ended up getting some of their coaches, I believe, the Bud cars, and they kept on trucking. But anyway, they ran between Denver, Colorado and Ogden, Utah from about 1970 to 1983. That was a good year, by the way. As the last privately owned interstate passenger train post-Amtrak era. So they were still kicking with their interstate service when Amtrak came to power, if you will. The Rio Grande Zephyr was the train, the passenger train that used F9s, and they had this funky, like, rebuilt steam generator car. Think of like head-end power, if you will, from an Alco PB1 that was kind of rebuilt, and they got coaches, you know, similar to the California Zephyr, the one you see on the right here, from Bud. Let's see what else they got some cars from a couple of different places, but they were primarily Bud. Now the one on the right, this baby on the right, the Western Pacific of the Feather River route, this was the OG California Zephyr right here. Now this is the FP7. This was a passenger variant of the F7 with an extra length car body, so they were a little bit longer than the F7, basically to house a steam generator. I think it was like 4 extra feet or something like that. And this used a 567B. So over here we got a 567 Charlie, and over here we got a 567 Bravo. And this was the older bay right here. This was rated at about 1,500 horsepower. Western Pacific had 804A through 805A, 804C, and 805C. So they had 4 of these. They were built in 1950, pretty much specifically for Western Pacific, if I'm not mistaken, and built for the California Zephyr, because they ran the California Zephyr up until this point with some F3s, and they were able to take the F3s and put them on other duties and kind of put a better, more appropriate engine with, of course, the steam generator for heat, because it gets pretty freaking cold out there in the West sometimes. But so that's what that was all about. And they were also used for freight after the California Zephyr discontinued its service, sadly. Now, the California Zephyr was a premier passenger train from 1949 to 1970 from Chicago, Illinois to Oakland, California. They were operated by 3 railroads along the way. This was kind of cool. So they would hand off the train and swap locomotives and crews out. They were operated by CB&Q, D&RGW, and then of course the Western Pacific when it got to the West Coast. And I think up until about 1983. I think they stopped running in the 70s, I believe. But in 1983, around the time Amtrak was kind of getting its footing, they began a second run of the California Zephyr, which did not run the entire route. It was only partially ran via the original route. But the original train cars were manufactured by the Bud Co. 6 10-car sets total, I believe, were built. 3 went to Burlington, 2 to Western Pacific, and 1 to the D&RGW. And in the 50s, some other Pullmans were built, some sleepers were added to each consist. There were ex-Pennsylvania Railroad sleepers that were taken and kind of modded, if you will, and added to the consist and all that good stuff. But anyway, this is what you're going to get. 2 of these buttes in the pack here. We're going to take a look at each one. Here we go. Alrighty, naturally we're going to look at the WP variant first. Now, as far as these trains, I think they both had 10-car consist. Or maybe the Rio Grande Zephyr had 10 and this one had 11. I can't remember. They're roughly the same, though. You may be wondering why I have 2 sat here, or maybe you're not. That's fine, too. Basically, they have set these up as passenger, which we have on the right, and freight variant. And that is the differentiation. So if you want to use one for freight or passenger, you can very much do so. Because one has got the appropriate 90 PSI and the other one's got 110. So the difference between brake, pressures, basically power, brake power, think of it like that, between passenger and freight. So that's neat, first and foremost. And in the editor, they are labeled as such, so it's very easy to see and read and know what you're doing and know what you're putting down. Now, with this pack, they've pretty much done just about every damn thing that they did in that mega, super duper awesome, humongous F40 pack that they made. They've pretty much done the same thing. There's their proprietary, I'm going to say Dynam-X or Dynamics exhaust, fading lights, separate reverser key. Yeah, they modeled a reverser key in and out, which is kind of cool. New sounds. So again, remember that from earlier, 567B, which is what we see here, and the 567C. So 2 different sounds. New horns, bells, weathering. Weathering was done to the car bodies here, the engines, if you will. Passenger and freight variant, as I mentioned, got the virtual window thing again, so from within the cab, different sound with the press of a key. New class, gyro lights, handbrake on by default so it doesn't start rolling away. The cab light no longer kills your frames. Instrument lights, variable wiper speed, bogey axle flange, and switch audio, just like the F40, of course. And they altered the amps and RPMs as well, so it takes a moment to power up. They don't just, take off like a jackrabbit, that stupid old, train sim physics that we see all too often that just don't make any sense. And they've also layered horn samples. So, first things first, we're going to go over the horns here, because, who doesn't love horns, especially if you're in American stuff, horns, right? So this one has an M5 and a Leslie A200. Now, by default, I believe it is on the M5. So let's go ahead and click it here. So we'll go ahead and listen to the M5. Very good. Very good. All right, and so the layering, they're different distances have different sounds, if you will. So we'll back up some. Back up some more. 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 Back that thing up. Back it on up. So you can hear that from pretty far away, which is nice. It's dynamic horn sounds, not too far from something like what the 2 awesome dynamic duo at Searchlight Simulations do with their horns. Very, kind of similar to that, and it sounds really damn good. So anyway, that's the M5. We'll hop in real quick and toot. Even got a little air hiss there at the beginning. Nice. Alright, so to switch the horn, shift, control, space. Now we got the Leslie A200. Now this horn right here is probably one of the better friggin' A200 sounds I've ever heard. Just in general, not even in train sim. That sounds incredible. Incredible. So we'll do the backing up here again. Listen to that. They went through a lot of care and painstaking sleepless nights to get that right. I don't know. They probably did it in 5 minutes. They're a bunch of technical smarties. But you can still hear it. 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 Can kind of faintly hear it. That is awesome. Inside, of course. Oh, it's got that deep reverb. It's just, you know, such a crazy sound. It's just, you know, reverbing off the metal. That sounds excellent. And of course the bell. It's got that nice dull thud inside. And crisp, clean exterior. That's as crisp and refreshing as a Coca-Cola Classic on a hot summer day. That sounds good. That sounds damn good. Alright, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm kidding. Those do sound fantastic, though. And that's just this. We haven't even gotten to the Rio Grande F9 yet. So, of course, we'll go to the lights next. Number boards, that's in. Off and on. Headlight, as usual, H. You can dim it with J. Now this is cool. Favorite of mine here with this pack in general. And these old chooches, you know. I know that means two totally different things, you know, to some people, namely Italian Americans. But I refer to trains, locomotives, chooches, gyro lights, or Mars lights. So K turns that bad boy on. And then the motor, shift K. Is she gyrating? It's much easier to see in a darker setting here. We'll kind of get to an angle. There we go. Look at that thing twerking. That thing's putting Miley Cyrus to shame. Wow. Much wow. Big wow. Alright, and of course the marker lights as well. So the marker lights, I think those are the class lights C or shift C. So there we go, C, that's your red, white, and green. And then shift C, back down the order. Hot damn. That looks incredible too. Very nice coloring. I like the fading, you know, it doesn't just, you know, snap on like a flipping 2022 LED light bulb. Look at the exhaust here, of course. Their proprietary Dynamics or Dynamics exhaust. So of course that'll change with RPM power as well and amps. Go inside here. Got our instruments, I, and then shift I to turn them off. And they fixed the cab lighting, so it's not as crazy anymore, and it doesn't kill your frames. So I got it locked to 60. Turning them off and on, it's still at 60. No weirdness going on here. Something else is pretty cool here. The reverser. Shift R. Witchcraft. Look at that. That's pretty cool. The little things, right? The little things. Alright, so what? The wipers. Here we go. I haven't actually looked at these yet. So these should be the same kind of variable wipers, just like with the F40 enhancement pack. So that's the first hit. I'll hit it again. Hit it again. Hit it again. And again. And again. And again. And again. I think that's pretty much it. And then Shift C to slow them down, and they'll stop wherever you want them to. So they'll look a bit more natural, I guess. And stop. There we go. Alright, have I... Oh, I have. Virtual window. Again, Shift W. That's awesome. In some ancient payware on the Steam store, you get virtual window all the time, but you can't ever select it or deselect it. It's just there. This, you can select it. That sounds bananas. Alright, so part of the biggest deal with this pack, at least to me, while a lot of this looks incredible, and I didn't even look at the exterior. Let's look at the exterior real quick. So it was weathered up a bit. Now again, I never thought this was a bad pair of locomotives, you know, looks-wise to begin with. They looked okay as far as the model. Like, you know, let's be honest, in the grand scale of all North American items, this is one of those, like, maybe out of 20 things on the Steam store that are decent, you know what I mean? So they already looked pretty nice to begin with. They were just a bit too clean, a little too shiny. They were just grimed up a bit, you know, road worn. They look good. They look very nice. And of course, these cars are incredible. These are far better looking cars than a lot of the you know, default coaching stock we got for North American stuff over the years in Train Sim. Now, as far as I know, they have not touched these up, but do they really need it? Sure, they could probably use some new texturing or you know, paint, something like that, maybe. Maybe some drag, you know, scripting, make it a little heavier or something like that. I don't know, but they're pretty damn good to begin with. Let's be honest. I mean, out of all, you know, the North American passenger coach stock that we have in Train Sim, these are not the worst. Absolutely are not. Alright, let's get back in this sunny beach. Alright, so by default, because a lot of weird stuff, you know, it's a train simulator. When you hop in some of these, they like to roll away. So the / on your keyboard is the handbrake. Now, you will not see a notation. You will not hear anything, but it is on by default. Know that. Alright, so we got a reverser in. And we're going to do it to it. So let's just run up the canyon here. Just listen to it. And again, 567B. We got a whole nother 567C to listen to. They are two separate files. Wait till the brakes come off here. Now, it's still 567, but there are, you know, some differences, of course. Alright, there we go. It's notch 1. And again, as always, we're going to break laws here today. The federales are going to be knocking on my virtual door because this is for science and testing and quickness. So we're going to be hauling ass here in a minute. Do not be alarmed. Notch 2. Up, hold on. Sometimes the amps do a funky thing. Hold on. Let's let them rev back down here. Now, I'm not sure why that happens. I'm not sure if that's intended. I'm pretty sure it is not. I have thrown various mods on these things over the years, you know, from, I can think of at least one other modder, I think. So I don't know if this is terribly clean as far as installing this. Let's try that again though, notch 2. It's weird, it's almost like it's not in gear. There we go, there's notch 4. There they go. There they go. Amp needle slowly climbing. Listen to that rumble. I'm gonna try my damnedest. I know it's impossible sometimes. I'm gonna try my damnedest to just kind of be quiet for a minute. Just soak in the audible beauty. We'll open the window with each notch here. How about that? Ah, and the rail noise as well. So there's truck noise, flange squeal, you know, junctions, switches, all that. There's sound for that, just like the F40. Probably need a bit more speed and a bit more of a curve. All right, notch 6. Just for shites and giggles, we'll go ahead and change the horn. Now it's on the Nathaniel M5. Notch 7. Yes. And we'll open the window. And the Ocho. My God. That deep, bassy, guttural sound is nothing short of bananas. Sounds bananas. That is really, really good noise. Now, I'd also like to mention, in case some of you are wondering, that, you know, some of you that keep up on stuff like this, Central Jersey Railfan has made a 567 pack as well, and some of the guys collaborated on that. This is not that. These are not those sounds. So this is a totally separate gaggle of sound files from what I understand. We'll go exterior. Oh, wait, window. The dynamic smoke there chugging away. All right, we should have some good curves up here. I don't know if we're going quick enough, but we'll do like a run by here. Hopefully we'll get some flange squeal, some squeakily deacon. will throttle down. Oh, forgot the instrument gauges. There we go. And brake. So as you can see here, 110 PSI. Passenger. Oh, there we go. You can kind of hear the squeal. I swear, man, every time I'm messing with one of their items, you know, the F40 or this thing, I hear it like everywhere, and I go to do the video and I can't hear it. I promise you it's there, though, and it sounds really nice. Alright, so that is the WP FP7. Let's go ahead and go check out the F9. Alright, here we are looking at the Rio Grande F9. Of course, you can see the headlights different. Yeah, it's a different engine, essentially. I mean, you know, we'll say it's different. It's different. Alright, so headlights again. There's our brightness, dimmable, number boards, gyrating, class lights. We'll put on the greens. The greens look especially nice on this one. And again, this one's been weathered just like the Western Pacific, so it's just a nice overall weathering. It looks really good. So I've got just a random ass consist here, a couple old Rio Grande F9s and an old Western Pacific FP7 with some empty cold guns. Headed back to the mines, wherever the hell we're at, doesn't really matter. What we're going to do now is we're kind of facing a descent right here. We're going to check out the dynamic braking as well. So just like the FP7, pretty much everything's going to be the same. This one does, although, have a different horn. I don't know if I like the A200 or this better. It's a hell of a toss-up. They both sound damn good. We'll open the window and do it. So virtual window on this model as well. Oh, you can. There's two sound files, you know, in tandem. It's like dueling banjos, but horns. It sounds incredible. And the bell. Much crispy. Alright, let's get that reverser in. Shift R. Get the instrument lights on. Throw her forwards. Make sure we got the handbrake off. We're going to gain a little speed, and then we're going to throw the dynamics on. Brakes come all the way off, and you'll see they should go to 90 instead of 110. Oh, wait. I'm an idiot. Did I set this one up? I think I might have put the passenger variant down. We'll see here in just a moment. Yeah, I didn't put the right one down. It's all good, though. It works, I promise. Alright, let's go. Alright, so this is a 567C. The FP7 had a 567B. Slightly different sound. And by slightly, you know, I mean, if you're a train nerd, it's not slightly. It's definitely different. Open the window a notch 3. Notch 4. We'll build up some speed. We got a little dip down here around the bend up here. Open the window. And look at the amp gauge. Look how smooth that is. That's hot. Looks very nice. Alright, close the window. We're going to break the law here again. I mean, I don't think we're going to be going higher than 70, but we're going to try. 5. Air hiss as well. Over the window. 6. Oh, see, in this one, you can... Oh, listen to the rail singing there. A little harder to hear at exterior. I hope you can hear that. All right, 7. Anyway, what I was getting to is this thing sounds pretty different than the B. The B, you don't really get that kind of, that deep shaking, you know, rumble until you get to about notch 7. And this one, it starts in notch 6. Over the window. And notch 8. Dude, this thing sounds good. So they allowed me to kind of tinker with this thing prior to release, and I didn't even realize until the last second that there was a totally different sound set for the prime mover in this. I remember them talking about it, but I didn't run this one during beta testing because I didn't, I thought it was just a 567. And this is the first actual time I'm hearing this right now. And it is different, and it sounds really, really nice. Listen to that whine. Oh my God. Oy. And clean horns too. You know, just like the F40. I can't remember the technical term, but what is it? Horn suppression? So there's not too many crazy, like, loud-ass sounds fighting one another like gladiators. That's clean. Alright, I believe our downhill section's coming. I wanted to build a little more speed. Should be able to hear some of the rail. In fact, I'll go ahead and come off the throttle and you'll hear it around this curve up here. You'll hear the rail singing. My God, that wind down is just as good as the rev up. Alright, I'm going to put on the horrible F4 HUD, which I hate with a passion for whatever reason. And I'm going to put it on dynamic via that so I can actually see what I'm in. So let's go ahead and set them up here. I can just go straight to notch 1. There we go, negative 84 amps. This window's closed. We'll give it another one. Give it another one. So this is dynamic 3. Dynamic 4. Listen to the rails. Oh, it sounds so good. Dynamic 5. You can hear the rails there. Six. It's about to kind of wear out here. It only works to about 6 miles an hour, so we'll go ahead and go to 7. 8. And you see the amps going back down. Dynamics, of course, are not meant to stop a train, just meant to slow it down. And 0. That's about all she wrote right there. So yeah, another incredible pack. I mean, this is some good stuff. I mean, if these guys keep pumping out content like this, the sky is the friggin' limit. Because this is incredible. You know, I don't want to say it's not as good as the F40 pack, because it's, you know, it's something totally different. But it's really good. It is really damn good, and I can't wait to see what they do next. It's always a treat, you know, when you see they're kind of working on something. So this pack is incredible. I will definitely be using this thing now more than I did, and more than I probably should. Listen to those rails. But that's it, guys. The EMD Electromotive Division Western Pacific FP7, and the best railroad in the world. The Denver and Rio Grande Western Railroad of Colorado, of America, of the world. F9. But it should now be available, and I will, of course, link you to where you need to go. And there's something I totally didn't do because I'm an idiot, so we'll go ahead and look at it real quick. As usual, I believe LP, Mr. Pancakes, has made another incredible manual. And it tells you everything you need to do, everything it's got, what all it covers, the commands. If you have any questions at all, don't write your congressman. Don't ask your mom. Don't ask your pet snake. Read the manual. RTFM. But anyway, that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time.